What is this garbage? No way. Ooh, this guy thinks he's Captain Knots. Thinks he's Captain Tying Knots. When everyone needs some knots tied, they go to him.
Rock and roll is very simple. Just 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is rock and roll. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Välkommen till livestreamen.
Well, I wasn't paying attention. What's going on, guys? Oh, man. I started trying to fix something on my tablet here and then realized that countdown expired. Hope you guys are doing well. This one should be pretty fun. Let me fix this. We, similarly to what we've done a little bit recently, we are going to be evaluating some riff ideas, song ideas from people, and just showing like the process of building it up and kind of giving some more options. John, who sent the idea in, should be joining us pretty shortly to get some more feedback or whatever, like to shape it more towards what he wants. Yeah, so before we get going, be sure to check out those sponsors if you need any picks or cables or any of that good stuff. Yeah, a bunch of new stuff coming up on our websites as well, so be sure to check all that out. So just to give a little bit of a summary of what's going on. This John is a dude that's I'm not even sure how long I've been working with him, but he just auditioned for music school for college and is going to be going there. And over the summer, he's starting to work on some songwriting, getting some stuff together. That was one of the things that helped me a lot, was getting something recorded just to build that confidence and everything. But getting it released, because your releases in the music industry are basically your resume, right? And so it's gonna be really cool to see him build these ideas up and end up doing stuff for, whatever he ends up doing in music. So like I said, this is brand new. He just got a really badass new Schecter. So he's just starting to do this stuff. The only thing I've done was I guessed at the tempo of this idea he sent me and just put so I think it's at about 160. So I threw that up there and just imported his little wave file that he had sent me. They're brand new to doing this type of thing. It's one of those things. I guess there's an ad about to start. We'll see if let me just fix this. Let me just too many things going off. All right, so he has sent us wave file. Let's just give it a listen to hear some of these ideas. I have not really listened to this yet. I was kind of saving it for now. Looks like there's like kind of 3 chunks. The one thing I did notice was like the panning and stuff was a little weird, so I don't know if he maybe forgot or, when he exported did something weird, which is understandable, brand new to Reaper and everything. But it sounded like a lot of stuff is going to come out of the left ear, so, John, hopefully you could figure out your password, so then you could watch or like chat, because just try and restart your password, because if you can, it'd be really cool to have you contributing, letting us know what, so I can ask you questions and stuff like that. Just in case, so I want to make sure it like is guided towards the goal that you have for your song. Okay, so like if I don't want when I've done some of these before, end up going maybe a different direction with it. This will I just want to make sure I'm taking it in the right direction. So Let's take a listen, and we'll go from here. Can you tell that he got a guitar with a Sustainiac pickup? I love it. Let's see. So right here, this sounds like it could be a pretty cool intro for something. So okay, cool. So right here, just a little side note, just in case I forget to say it, there's a lot of good ideas in here, and I think one thing that would be helpful for you is to structure it so you can get things you're writing a song, so everything should work together. But one thing I think might help you is, like, you're kind of bouncing back and forth between more melodic ideas and more rhythm-based ideas. It's just having that more consistent, mainly because that's what you hear on a final recording, right? So as we build this, it'll make more sense. But we'll have like the left and right distorted guitars. We'll have all the different layers, because I think especially with the next ideas, with this. That could be cool. So yeah, so you've got like kind of an intro idea. It sounds like you've got like maybe this could be something kind of like a verse. Solo section, maybe something bigger, chorus or whatever. Let's check out this next little clip. John, I know you're trying to figure out your password so you can get back into the chat. If you hear this, maybe just shoot me a text real quick. But I was going to say, did you have a specific key that you were looking to do this in? Or like tonality or anything? Or I'm just curious. It sounds like you're focusing on B flat. But I don't know if that was the tuning or if that was... Okay, yeah. So yeah, it sounded like it. That's a little bit sharp. So no worries. So those chords right there, just another little side note, just to kind of like give in the first impressions. They sound really cool because there's that dissonance in there, right? What I think is happening there, just as a little side note, is I think you need less gain. So like when we have like right, you can hear those notes a little bit more. Add some, we could even blend it with like a clean guitar and have something. Right? Gain is an interesting thing when you're recording. So like my live sounds, for example, have a very different gain level than when I'm recording. When we're recording multiple guitars and layering them on top of each other, you start to lose some of the definition and pick attack and all of that good stuff that you want if you don't have, or if you have too much gain. So it's kind of annoying, like jumping back and forth, right? Like if you're like recording and going live. But just that's the big thing to keep in mind. You can keep pretty much all the other stuff similar, but you definitely, in my experience, most of the time you're going to have less gain for the recordings. Okay. So all right, that's so kind of playing around with like suspensions and stuff there. That's pretty cool. That's cool. Little harmonic minor action. Okay, so let's just while you're getting your stuff figured out, I'm gonna start with kind of this first idea where we had the so this progression you have, like this is what I was saying about like kind of establishing a little bit more of like a more solid backing for you to build your ideas off of. Okay, so we were talking a bit about, and actually let me switch over to this so you can see what I'm doing on the screen more. So what I'm gonna do here is not add a guitar, we're gonna add drums. So I'm just making a little empty thing for the drums. We're gonna mute your idea for a bit. And like we were talking about, when you're trying to figure out like the part and everything like that, you're probably going to want to start with the main pulse. So like in your idea, and this is going to like impact the way it's perceived, right? So if we had like the crash cymbal or whatever, and let's just say we had quarter notes. And actually here, let me map out the low note. So we're going to start with just the bass in here so we can have it. So for the bass part, like your chords in the background, you had like say the A. Oops. So you had like, if we're playing the A, right? Down to F to G. So we'd have like and then it sounded like you did a little harmonic minor. And I'm a big fan of variations. So if we think about like telling a story, right, you want the more exciting stuff at the end. So what we could do is we could have it where it's like Now here, we could go to the harmonic minor one. Or we could have it go normal into harmonic minor. So at the end. Right? So just to put this with your chords so you can kind of hear. If we were... Actually, I'm purposely using the if you're an A, one thing I think would be, just to bring this up, when you're playing your chords, if you flip the power chord, you can get a real thick sound. So instead of just having like a, right, John. I'm glad you got it figured out, man. Twitch can be a pain in the ass with the passwords. So yeah, so if we're starting this, maybe in the chat, let us know for this part. Do you have a certain feel that you were looking for? Or you can let me know which one you like more when we do it. Okay, so if I put the chords here, I'll show you the variation I did kind of based on your ideas. So starting with the A. We could do it like that, where it's that little diminished thing at the end to make it harmonic minor, or we could do it where the whole thing is rather than just skipping it, right? So we could do, or going from natural, so. So, okay, so I'm just going to leave that there for a second. It sounds to me, let's go back to your... kind of like a standard beat. So like when we're talking about the feel, right? We want to build up this part. Were they quiet or chill? Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's yeah, I think what the cool thing about your ideas, man, is you've got a variety, right? So there's places you can go. One thing, I don't remember if I mentioned this when we did our lesson last, but like as far as like the feel, right? The drums that you had there are hitting on 2 and 4. And so if that's what you want, like right? Or we could do, actually this, I think that feel works pretty well. And then I think, well, I'll show you a variation. Remind me if we don't do it, but I think this kind of riff works well when you have something that changes, what's the word I'm trying to say? It changes the feel to like a halftime. So you get kind of in the groove of it and then throw a little curveball. So let's just say we had this play a couple times. And then we'll worry about the change in a second. So as far as like bass, I'm just hitting eighth notes on the root notes. So then if I were to go through here with the bass drum, you know, adding some extra kicks in here, and you know, so here we have something more interesting. Let's say bum 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 bum. And then we're going to put like a little bit of a fill at the end. We'll figure that out. Let's change the rhythm up a bit. All right. So right away, this is going to be a little bit more like the variations are what make it interesting. And this is why I was saying like I don't tend to use a lot of just the written loops and stuff. But like right here. And actually, in the drum, in Reaper, you definitely set it up like this, where you label the drums. If you haven't done that, it makes things so much easier because I can just say, you know, the kick drum is right here, rather than thinking about it as a C note. But here's our variation so far. So with that harmonic minor part, do you like it better when it's only harmonic minor at the end? Or do you like it better when, like here, it just only hits the G sharp? Or do you want it to hit the G and then the G sharp? So it could be like... at the end there, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That sort of thing. I think that one sounds pretty cool, but okay, yeah, cool. We are on the same page. Okay, so here right now, especially because I know the drummers that you tend to like, let's make these a little bit more interesting just from the start. add a couple little faster bits. So like a... And then, later, man. Thanks for stopping by. Couple extra little things in here. Why not? Probably actually wouldn't do as many of these things I'm doing right now, but it sounds kind of cool. So let's put on here. With those little accents. Oops. Wrong note. Actually, this could be kind of cool to put as a... Ah. Wrong notes. Yeah, that's cool. The rhythms can be an amazing little transition. If it like you could like actually I'll show you this when we go to the halftime. You can build up and make the like say the kick drums just constant 16th notes, but still make it feel like you took it back and made it a little bit more relaxing. I don't want that. Alright, so if we went to this, let's see what this does now. Let's go to this. Okay, so if we have this, let's say we wanted to go to a halftime for just part of it, right? So maybe on the first half of the second repeat, we're going to go to a halftime and then go back to the normal thing. So what I'm going to do here, just to show you, you can go to perfectly consistent 16th note kick drums, which you would think is going to be like way more intense, right? But because we're changing the feel, it's going to feel like it slows down, actually. So right here, and actually let me turn my guitars down a bit so I can just jam. Like it. I didn't even ask you this. As far as instrumentation goes, are you thinking like bass, drums, guitar only, or are you gonna try and are you looking to add some new stuff in there, like piano or synth or anything like that? Because we could go any direction you want. And like I haven't really even played around with the rhythms, right? I'm just playing the power chords, kind of like how it sounded like you were doing. So if we were just to put Okay, synth and piano. Nice. Yeah, and the thing is, you can add like. I'll give you an example. Let me think about this. I'm just gonna do a real straight backing like rhythm real quick, so you can kind of see how this all fleshes out and how you can do different things. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna record those power chords real quick, and then we're gonna add a couple of layers. So we got the one. So that was I just recorded only the left guitar there. So now what we need to do is add the right guitar. Like I said, I don't know if you heard the beginning, but it sounds like your guitars were all panned left, or most of them were. So right now we've got a left distorted guitar, and then we have a right distorted guitar. So I'm going to record the right one now. So right here, this is what I was kind of getting at with having a more complete backing that's kind of balanced. I'm not worried about the performance right now because I'm just doing the songwriting. That is not nearly tight enough. I mean, it's fine, but I would definitely pay attention to it. Make sure I probably palm muted some stuff I didn't with the other guitar. But now we have a pretty solid. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm just going to copy my bass part. You can add synths in a way where it's not super obvious and it just kind of impacts your tone. So just to show you what I mean by that, I'm going to add just the root, like low octaves, to kind of fill out the space that we have. So like just held notes, just put some sort of pad. This is, I think, really good for making your tone like thicker. And a lot of times people use this without, like, you don't even really hear the keyboard, but it makes it bigger. So if I were to take these, like I said, I'm just going to add really low octaves. And then let's actually bump this whole thing down an octave. So here. Okay, so you ending on the E. So are you saying like at the end of this, the variations we have here? So like put an E maybe at the very end, like kind of in this chunk. Absolutely, let's do it. I mean, and let's do this. Let's say we wanted to make this ending more like you were kind of getting at, right? Like making a little bit more interesting. Let's say instead at the end we're gonna go G sharp, because then it makes you kind of think that it's gonna be normal, and then the E. So oops. So the E is a good transition for your key, right? So just thinking about it musically, if you're playing your when you play that E note, you're hitting the fifth of your key, right? And so as soon as you hit that fifth, it's going to want to pull you back to an A, and it's going to make that transition a lot stronger. 5-1 or 7-1 are always going to be like the most, powerful resolutions, cadences, whatever you want to call them. So let me just get these guitars recorded real quick. So we're just going to have at the very end here, we're just going to have that sort of thing. So. I didn't mean to loop that. Goodbye. And then, let's hope I remembered the rhythm close enough. Oh, shit. Didn't even have the right pickup. Oh, I totally messed up. I gotta re-record all this real quick. I was using the middle pickup on accident. Oops. I was wondering why it was a little bit goofy. I mean, and honestly, for the songwriting, who cares? But I just want to make it sound good, so. Alright, so we got this. And then let's get that other guitar in there. I remember what I played. Cool. So I like that variation a lot. I think it is very well balanced as far as the chord progression goes. There's a little bit of extra tension halfway through with that harmonic minor, and then there's even more at the end, right, with the harmonic minor and the fifth. So right here, let's see, if we have this. That's too low. So let me glue these together. It's important to think about the layers in like their pitch range, right? I was thinking way lower, but then it kind of gets lost. So when we hear this with the okay, so in your idea, yeah, the synth could do all kinds of stuff. And actually, I don't even know if I said this to you, but I can send, even though I'm using Cubase, I can send you all the files from this so you can do it, and like take what I programmed and stuff and use it later, no problem. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, in your idea, let's see where it is. You got those cool kind of like spookier chords in the background. So if we were to take something like this and you know, we could have some sort of you know, playing around with like more of like that kind of ambient thing in the background. That could be kind of cool. Like, you know, kind of another texture in there. That stuff's cool. And a lot of times, like when you're adding your parts, right, you can have multiple things doing the same thing to make it stand out more. But you could also add other things in here, right? So like if we wanted like you were saying, like maybe a piano, right? The pianos are cool. You can come up with stuff that's just kind of moving around with the same chords. Let's see. Let's make some of them. have would vary from the theme. Sure. Let me think. 'Cause it's all Dude, this is a good little side note. This part that I just came up with, like, while it's cool, I think that could be like a hook on a lead guitar part. Like if you had here, let's make one up. Cause I like, if this part, like what, I don't know if you have an idea for this yet. Well, do you hear this part of a song as being a specific part of the song, like a chorus or, you know, something like that? Cause especially if it's like a chorus, I think it could work really well to have that, that brings up a good point, man. The it is really kind of like a lot of songs at the end of the song they'll have that be like they'll do like maybe 2 choruses. So what could be really cool, I'm just gonna show you this because this is a little side note about like just like a little thing you could play around with. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Sometimes this works well, sometimes it doesn't. I'm gonna pitch shift this up. So what happens a lot of times in songs is you will transpose 2. Let's see. We'll see if this actually worked. Sometimes why is it speeding it up? Why did you speed up? Pitch shift, not time stretch. Why is it shortening? God, you. All right, whatever. I'll just re-record it. But I was gonna say, a lot of times what people will do is they'll do a key change at the end, maybe where they do like a double chorus or something like that, and then, or whatever it is, right? So if we were to take this and we did 1 note or a whole step higher, it's gonna be pretty dramatic sounding. So if we had, I'll play the ending into that. So I mean, it like kind of boosts it up, make it sound like real dramatic. You could like a key change and stuff like that can be a really cool thing just to add at the end, especially if you're repeating it a few times. So I went a whole step higher in that case. So if you had, you go from the key of A where you get used to it. So we're gonna go to the key of B minor. Right, so it makes it sound really dramatic when you do that. If you were to key change down a half step, that sounds really spooky, right? Like a. You can have some cool stuff with that. But yeah, like taking this kind of like if this, let's say we approach this as a chorus, right? Let me I'm gonna record a little hook, we'll say. That sort of thing, right? That could be really cool, and you could double that melody or do something different with it as a piano part. But I do think this works well as a it's catchy, right? So especially if you put a hook in there. I like it. So let me just record something like that so we have it, and then we'll build from this. Let's go. Let's go. Those last notes were totally wrong, but you kind of get the idea, right? So when you transition to something, you were saying, let's say we're going to go to something more mellow, kind of like based on the same kind of idea. What I would probably do with this is figure out how similar we want it. As far as like let's just separate these. So how similar do you want this? Do you want it to be something that's not like basically just a mellow version of the same thing we just came up with, or do you want it to be like loosely based on it kind of thing? Dude, we could do like I don't know if you have this. I'll type it in the chat so you can see it. I don't have the link handy, but just so. That BBC Symphonic Orchestra is a free VST that you can get by just filling out a questionnaire about yourself. And excuse me. So we could definitely, add some cellos and stuff and have I think that could be cool to have it cut out and just be like cello and piano or something, right? So let's just keep it like this, and let's just do the piano part because you being a guitar player, this might be a little weird. So what you want to think about with transitions, I think the most important. I mean, you might as well since it's free, right? I think it takes them like a week or two to get you your free license because you could buy it for like $50, but they give it to you for free if you fill out the little questionnaire and stuff. Okay. So what I'm doing here is we are going to let's make a little kind of mellow piano part. So. I'm gonna do 2. Nope. I'm just gonna have rather than that metronome going, which is gonna get super annoying. I'm just gonna have the little pedal chick on the hi-hat. High notes for sure. Especially because we have like so much in the low end right here, right? So as far as like filling out this piano, normally what I do is I start with the pitch range that I want. So I think even this piano, I don't know which one you would like better, but we could start with it being, low like that, but it might sound, I might even bump the piano. Let's do this. So right here, what I'm going to do is not really worry so much about some sort of sprinkling. Nice. I'm going to kind of throw a melody in here just because of the way piano players tend to play. And then I'm going to build up the chords more. So if we had like a... So here's the, we're going to make that variation there, and then we have this last one. And this is just rough, right? Like, you can change whatever you want. It's kind of weird hitting that. Now we're going to need a G. Let's see what we want. The cool thing about the E chord too at the end is it brings that harmonic minor change in there again, which I am a fan of. Okay, so let's just say that's like a little melody that you like. You can, like I said, I'll send it to you and you can do whatever you want. We want to put a little bit more of the chords in here, so maybe I'm just gonna do let's only listen to the piano real quick. So. And right here, let's change up the order. So I'm just going like first, third, fifth, and at the end here I'm changing it up. So when we have this progression, let's get the F, C, A. Let's take you guys, copy that again. Oop, wrong place. So when this part starts, if we're going from that really heavy thing and then we go into this mellow part, are you thinking you want it to just feel like it completely, like the energy gets like sucked out of the room kind of thing, and then you're just like real mellow? Do you want like a chord ringing out, like we hit that A chord at the end, just let it ring out kind of thing? What are you wanting it to feel like? Because if you figure out the feel of that part, it makes it much easier to do the transitions. Let's do this. And here, then you can start playing around with things, right? Like maybe we actually want the melody, you know, high. And I think like a cello by itself would sound cool, so I'm actually going to get rid of one of these, so it's just... Now here's the thing, like, so right now, if we were just to play straight into this, and honestly, depending on what direction you go with this, I can't even remember. Are you thinking like instrumental, or are you gonna go vocal? All right, so I think one thing that could be cool with this is if you like, and this is just working. That makes sense. So for me, when I'm hearing this part, it sounds like it could be something really cool to like die down and then build it back up into the big thing, right? Like back into the chorus kind of thing. Maybe like a little like mellow section kind of bridge or whatever. But let's just say we started with this. Half notes on the kick drum. And then let's put like, Oh, so actually, this is one thing I didn't say. I think that first part that we had could be a cool intro, right? With the Sustainiac and everything. So that part at the beginning there, let's go back to the first idea you had where you have those, right? Those like kind of like dissonant hits. We could end up doing something like that here, like tying that in with maybe a cool rhythm that you have with this. So, hello. Say we did this. I'm gonna kind of take your idea of those hits and like make something here, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just gonna do this really boringly with just one tom. You have something that's a little bit more random, and then it could get like you know, something built in. Okay, so here, this is all just one tom drum, right? And it's pretty boring. What we're gonna do here, though, is we're gonna bring this into here. We're gonna have the second half, and this is something that you only really want to play around with if you know what you like. If you, I don't know, like we're gonna do right here on the bottom of my screen. That's the velocity right now. You can change it to other things, but the velocity is how hard you're hitting things, right? So for this part, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go low and build it up. Oops, I didn't highlight everything. So we're gonna take these, and we're gonna go from oops. Let's start here, move you lower, and then these guys. And I'm not going to be doing everything right now, because if we were to actually finalize this, I would make it a hell of a lot cooler. You know, a lot of variation. just something so you can kind of see what I mean. So a lot of times I wait to do that, unless it's like a very specific thing like it is right here. I'll wait to do all this velocity changing and stuff to the very end, because it gets a little distracting. But like, and to build it up, yeah. I mean, you could have like crazy stuff, right? Like, however you want to build it up is cool. So like right here, I just had like, the only thing I did with the kick, right, is have it on half notes and then quarter notes. But you could add little variations in there. You could have it go faster. And then pretty cool. The nice thing, like with your layers, like let's just hypothetically go let's put something in this mellow part, right? Right now it's kind of open and like kind of dry sounding, right? There's not like a lot of texture in that. that sounds cool. So all I'm doing there is I'm taking the same chords, but I'm rather than only hitting the fifth, I'm kind of making it a little bit more melodic, just because I think it sounds cool. But let's get this in here. Ending. Screw you, E chord. Let's go back. Oh yeah, dude. I have like literally everything. Yeah, and so like the choir, actually now that I think about it, I don't think I've reinstalled it. I do have one though. I'll have to if that's something you want, I can just put it on again. I think it's on my other hard drive. But even like since I know you don't have like tons and tons and tons of VSTs yet, like you could just write what you want on a different instrument and then feel free to use it later. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll take a guitar part because I'm more comfortable with it, right? I might turn this on to like so right there, I put it on the clean guitar. I actually think I kind of like the overdrive a little bit more. Just depends on where you want it. So literally, we have that one progression. We just made it more interesting, and we've already gotten like a decent chunk, like a chorus here. And let's like a little listen. I'll play like that little lead thing we were goofing around with. But yeah, just so you can kind of hear how this builds. Just like right now, this to me feels like we could totally take. Let me steal this. I might need to switch my guitar to get that the squeals that you were doing. Let's see what you did here. So, all right. So let's just do this. So we have. Oh, my soloed. Let's add a little. I was gonna say like earlier. I tend to do the intros, like finalize those last because, I mean, especially now with the attention span of people, right? If you have if you write an intro that doesn't really get people hooked into the song, it can be bad news. So let's see. Were you doing like an A diminished chord for that part? Yep, cool. Gotta love diminished. All right, so I'm just gonna. If I were doing this myself for the song, I would add a lot more variation than I'm gonna do right now. Not so much like yeah, for like a little diminished power chord, right? Those are great for distortion. Like that's kind of like what I was doing before with those. Yeah, I love them. Let's take. Oh, and this is a little shortcut, John. By the way, if you have a little pattern on the bass drum that you want to put on bass, just copy the bass drum onto the other MIDI track, and then you can do a little bit of fixing. So like if I were to go. I just copied the bass drum note, and now if I put it at the beginning of the part, paste it in there, it's way down here. But now what I can do is I can make this. Now you hear it matching the. What the heck happened here? Let's go there, because that'll sound kind of cool. Actually, if we're just gonna, like I said, I would do a lot more variations, but for right now, just to get this 2, 3. All right, so if we were to do this, and again, you can set this up with a gate. You can do a lot of different ways, but for right now, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do this the quickest way. Yeah, if you like, yeah, the hi-hat little click thing you have right there, a lot of times you'll see the drummer doing that, like just kind of keeping their own time. And honestly, like, right now I'm putting that, like I would actually edit this and make it a lot tighter. But let me just show you, like, as far as like building this as an intro, right? If we have this part playing, and then, do I have to actually, let me see if I have to edit this at all. So you can hear like this little like, there's a little bit of extra noise in the background. What I would normally do is like cut that space out like that. But like I said, I for right now, it doesn't really matter. But let's get the other side. Let's play it correctly with the click track. So, if we had this playing, I would say you could do something kind of cool like this. And this is a super sloppy way of doing this right now, just a side note. But I just want to kind of show you, like maybe having it go in both directions kind of thing. So like here, it's going to go from left and right speakers, and you'll still have like that. Let's get that. So you can see it's kind of different speakers at first, and then it kind of gets in. We could have it where there's, let's get rid of the bass for the very beginning. And like I said, you might not even have like these things matching, right? You might just do like, let's go down to the. Let's do this. Get you guys down on. And actually here, let me just show you this. If you wanted, you could even go into like more of a drum feel, right? You could have like a... I don't know how much you actually want to build this up, but just to show you, I mean, you could just take that and add a halftime, for example. We're kind of more into like an actual groove, but I think again, you can copying and pasting, right? It's the best. And let's move these guys. Oops, everything's a note off. Everything's off again. Okay, so anyway, you can build this as much as you want. I just want to kind of point those things out with the feedback and everything, and we'll see about adding that. But for right now, let me just show you this going. Let's see what this sounds like. So right there, those parts seem a little bit different, right? Like they're, I mean, you have to focus on a diminished chord, and then you're going into a bigger idea. I think if I were doing this, actually, let me do this. I think what I would maybe do. Let's see. We're gonna go to that B flat. So it says A sharp because I haven't inputted any keys, but we're basically hitting a Neapolitan chord there. And what that means is it's gonna pull us to 1 really well, and it pulls us to that A note. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna use that B flat. And we'll do like. So just a little kind of pull in, right? Let's change this. And then let's get the other guy in there. Okay, so anyway, let's just listen to what we have so far. Give me your thoughts. Let's see how much I can do harmonic wise. Like I was saying with the transition here, even a simple like just hitting like a I think that little fade out makes it feel a little bit nicer. Sometimes we don't want that, but in my opinion on this part it works well. This is a really bad, don't use your volume now like I just did. You actually would automate it with the little fade. Like, let me just show you. You would actually do this, but since I'm recording a DI, it's a little bit annoying. But just have it like, you know, like, that's awesome, man. So this is what I would do. So I don't influence this too much because I don't want to, you know, obviously write this for you. I'm just kind of taking your ideas and showing how I would balance it out, and you know, because you can hear like this backing track we have right here is a lot easier to jam with than like, right? Because it's harder to hear things and it's just like more clean, right? Like I said, you don't want to do everything in the songwriting stages, but it is really good to make it sound like pretty close, right? That way you're able to get an accurate perception of it all. So yeah, so like say you want to take that Disaster piece, right? The if you were to like listen to it, kind of get a sense of, maybe try and reprogram what he's doing, or take like steal the elements that you like and then build it into you know, those variations and stuff like that in here. You can, because there's no right or wrong. These are all cool ideas. It's more about figuring out how you want to do it. And like, even though we have things kind of arranged right here, there's nothing saying it has to be like that, right? So, yeah, I would absolutely, like, if you went from here, it's gonna sound better now that it's quieter. Crazy sweep thing here. That'd be fun. See if I can improvise all these changes. It's hard. That little switch from major to diminished. But anyway, that's pretty cool. So let me just kind of separate these. I feel like there's a really good start for all of these ideas already. There's let's do this. I'm just gonna bump these around so there's not like they're not actually playing in the right order. We got this part then. Cool. So I think like those sections, you have a good structure to start with, right? Like finalizing like a melody and a hook would be a really good idea. Taking like, I mean, it's like playing around with the notes. So like when if I send that MIDI over, you know, you can just tweak it, do whatever you want with it, delete it. But yeah, I think like that sort of idea is really, those are pretty solid as starting points. Where's this one? Let's see. Were you using I can't remember. Did you record this just like randomly, or were you using like a click track? Cool. Gotcha. Okay, so let's take that little, I guess I wasn't playing that, huh? Yeah, totally. I just want to kind of take some of these ideas and, you know, like, play around with them. Because if we were to take this little idea right here, let's say, you've got a couple cool elements here, right? So you've got like those, like that hit. So let's get this part. Because when you're creating that space, you can kind of combine some of these, I think, in some cool ways. So if we, this totally sounds to me like it should be at halftime. And so again, don't worry about all of the stuff. Just get like the rough there and then flesh it out as you go. So let's get this. Like I said, I feel like this would be a really like badass thing to switch to a halftime in. So if I were doing this, let's say we hit. Nope. Not the splash, the China cymbal. Let's do half notes. Okay, so we're gonna add the bass, and actually this bass goes low if we want. Oh, eighth notes, dummy. I can't remember. Were you doing the lower or high? Let's see. And actually, just I can, if we wanted, I can actually program the bass to do those slides and stuff with you. But again, that's something I would do later. You doing that? Like, sounds like it's a little. Yeah. It just sounded different because it's the tune. So we've had like this. Let's say. Let's see. So if we did that, maybe some silence in there. Let's see. Yeah, so let's get this. Count intel. Oh, that's a good idea, man. Yeah, so like if you have this, and again, this is like super sloppy version, but just so we get it, let me get the other guitar in there. So we've got this little guy, and then like you said, like some fast kicks, right? So like now that we have like, you can see like we kind of jump around, right, and build things up, kind of. Not even, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. So let's add some right there. You know, you could even have like. I don't know, I'm just randomly doing it, but yeah. And so like something like this, like you said, kind of has that a cool little sound. Now, one thing I was gonna bring up, like you've got. Okay, so like this part right here. Right? You could have nice. Let's say we take this little like halftime kind of deal. Except let's get rid of those. Okay, so if we were to take this, that little idea you have right there could be pretty cool as like, let's see. Let's kind of play around with this. And like here, let's just have that bass part. So I'm going to match kind of the little rhythm that we just did. And then we're going to fill it in, like the space in with guitar parts. So if we were to do like a Let's see, so. Why is that? What's? Huh? Wait, did I paste this in the wrong spot? I did. That is very wrong. Okay, so let's get a little guitar part. And actually that ending part. Let's do this. Here it is starting out. Yeah, this is gonna be cool to see you play around with this stuff, man. The brief mode, yeah. They're like, and the thing is, if you have this happens to me a lot, where I'll have a lot of good ideas about like one thing. I'm not really sure which one I'm gonna end up using. I just record them all and then kind of piece it together however I want. And most of the time, when I repeat ideas in the song, I do it a little bit differently, right? So like with the idea that you had over here. Let's go back to this. We could go to some totally different feel for that, right? And just do something like completely different, like double time or something. But for this. Really boring drum fill, but it'll give us the idea. Okay, so we're gonna that little lead kind of melody idea we were just playing around with. We're gonna record that in a second. But what I want to do is I want to get these hits in here, just to show you like if we were to do. Let's do this all tight. Play the right notes though. And then it does. So this is like kind of like I'm stealing pieces of your ideas, right? Now, one thing that could be really cool, and actually, let me just show you this because I think you had mentioned this in a lesson. And I just wanted to bring this up. So you see, you know, like when you hear some things like where it might come in from, like it almost feels like it's in the background or something. Oops, that's totally not what I wanted. Like it sounds like it's called like a lo-fi effect. So what happens with those is you cut the low end and the high end a lot, so then it's going to be like, and you can automate this to fade in. So what's kind of cool is like if we were to do this and I play. Sounds like an old radio, right? And then we can build it into the full thing. So what I'm going to do with this, we're going to add this in a second, and we'll play around with like getting this all to work. Anyway, the that lo-fi thing pops up a lot. So as far as transitions go, a lot of times you have it kind of cut out. It sounds like it's way in the background, and that kind of like slams back in or something. Those can be pretty cool. I like it up there better too. I like the notes down. Let's see. So let's do it up high. I have no idea what it thought you were trying. I just had to. The chat just tried to censor you for typing pedal. Is that like a slang word I don't know about? That's cool. We'll dedicate some time to help me figure out the. Yeah, this is everything we're doing here is exactly the same in Reaper. I mean, it just looks different. So setting, like, I think the big thing for you is to set up a template. That would be it. Yeah. That's a good thought. Okay, so if we had if we're taking this. So here's like you can have all different types of field changes and stuff, right? Like we were talking about, you could have something go crazy. Where we go? Right, so there's all kinds of cool things you can do with that. Like in your original. So like with this, like, right, you could just, as far as coming up with like this part right here, this would be fun to play around with. So if you were to take, like in this part, it sounds like it could benefit from being in double time. So if we did constant kicks, doing that. Let's do eighth notes on the hi-hat. All right, so let's make this a little cooler, so it's not just the exact same thing. Add a couple extra snare hits. All right, so let's take your notes. Oops. Now here's actually one really good thing to point out. So build into the trem parts, right? So when you're playing, like talking about layering. That could be kind of cool. Actually, so let's do this. And I'm just going to play around with the notes my own way. But when you're playing like... Let me see which one. Let's... All right, so if we have the 16th notes on the guitar, I normally put 8th notes on the bass. Get that. Let's see. So. So like I said, you could have the bass player playing a lot of like all the 16th notes, but I feel like as far as the layering goes, it tends to work. It works a little bit better, I feel like, when they hit like half of what the guitar player is doing. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Let's just say we took this. So. Here, let's add that Gojira. Let's see. Let's just get rid of that. So yeah, there you go. It depends on the style. I mean, like if you're playing like something like this, you could totally have the bass doing it, but I think in most situations it sounds better when they have it. So like if I'm playing 16th notes, the bass player would be doing eighths. Like I think it works a little bit nicer that way. Like most of the stuff, like it's not a right or wrong, it's what you want, right? But I feel like mixing wise, it tends to feel a lot nicer that way. I'm going to change something here. I'm going to throw a little curveball in here just to see how it goes. Sometimes you get the ideas and you try them and it's just totally shitty, and sometimes it's great. You know, you got something like this. Let's get this other guitar recorded. And actually, we can do harmonies in the second half. Let's try that. So let's take a little listen to this. Nice. Get some crazy leads in here. Yeah, see, man, you got a lot of good ideas in here. It's just like I think it's getting it to fit the full like thinking about the big picture and everything like that. Out of all the stuff that I don't know, maybe out of anything, is there anything that's standing out as being like really confusing? I just realized I've got like 20 minutes before I've got to get recording myself for a project. So if there's something that you want to see, like a specific riff in here that you wanted to play with, or something that you have a harder time with, we can definitely jump to that. Those are cool. You have those like lower ones. What were you doing? Okay, so let's just. Are you talking about like if you? I'm gonna make a really simple example, but do you mean like when you have like, between phrases? Are you talking about like when you're soloing, trying to connect ideas, or are you talking about like in your chord progressions and riffs, connecting stuff more? So like, when you want, like there and making it more interesting. You know, adding some more fills, like that kind of thing. Okay, cool. So let's take one of these. Okay, so whatever. I think with the transitions and stuff like that, it really is gonna boil down to note choice in your rhythm. So let me just show you an example of the rhythm thing. So if we were going from this, say, oops, sorry. Like those work well together. So we could have it where, I mean, the parts are a little sloppy, but who cares? So right there, because we started using like the faster, like this transition is literally just 4/16 notes on the snare drum, you know? Keep clicking random notes. Oh, actually 8th notes I meant. If we were to do like, if you wanted it to be a little faster, maybe you could do something where you have. See, that pull, like that little speed up, right? Pulls you in. It doesn't have to be that though. It could also be like your note choice. So if we were playing, every chord and note and stuff has like it's gonna want to pull you somewhere. Some of them sound resolved, but like in this case, when we're playing, that E at the end, right? That E at the end could definitely pulling us to the A note. So if we wanted like I think that the rhythm thing is going to be just thinking of like what you like and stuff. I bet the rhythms are going to be something better to focus on because you have a pretty good ear for the notes and stuff. And it's kind of like because the drums and programming and stuff is a little new for you, so like building it all and getting what you need, right? So let's say we did, let me see. Yeah, like these parts all like, let's see how we want to transition between these. Okay, so if we had like this little idea. Yeah, I think your ideas overall work pretty well together. Okay, so let's say we were taking this chord right here. Let me see what you... Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Hey, Lamb of God's got some pretty sick riffs, right? Let's do one of these more mellow ideas, like towards the end here. So you have that like banana. Okay, let me show you something. So when you find a chord that you really like, you can use it for pretty much everything. So let's say we want to take this. Let's do like a clean and overdrive guitar sound. And let's say we want to make like the relaxing version of this. So we're going to have halftime probably. So accents on 3. I'm drumming with my mouth. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this idea and we're going to play around with the chords. I just want to show you this because this happens a lot. And a lot of times I think when people start writing, they forget that this is an option. When you are playing really anything, obviously when you're playing like a chord progression, for example, the chords tend to go like, let's just make one up. Like we had before, we had A minor to an F to a G. You can do a lot more than just those types of... So what I'm going to do here is I'm only going to pick a bass line. So that first chord that you were playing, you had that... Yeah, that 12th fret thing for sure. But let's say we took that first chord. And what it sounded like to me is you were kind of doing that but changing the low note. And so what you could do is you could totally play this as just a slash chord, meaning that your low note is changing but nothing else, okay? And that would sound really cool with something like this. So let's say we went, especially with that kind of chord. Let's go up 8 higher. Okay, so this is going to be our rhythm, matching the kick drum again. Let's make sure I did it. Okay. So in this key, I want you to tell me, like, pick 4 notes. Oh, I guess we're starting on A. So pick 3 more that you want to try. We could obviously base it on the chord progressions that we've been doing, but in the key of A minor, you can just go ahead and choose whatever. So, you have any preference? B. Okay, so here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to play that like A minor add 9 type chord, and I'm going to change the bass note. That's pretty badass, actually. I fucking love it when like those that comes together like that. It's like, yeah. All right, let's jam on this. Actually, let's put a variation. So like I said, I add variations all the time. So this time I went up to a high B. Let's go to a low B then. Why is this not cooperating? There we go. And actually, like I said, we can copy stuff, right? So let's put like low notes on the piano. Oh boy, where do we go? Ah. And honestly, any note, like you could do a slash chord. I should have said this. A slash chord, when it says like A minor add 9 slash B, that's just telling you that only the low note is changing, right? Most of the time that means it's like it could be an inversion or something diatonic, but you could add anything as your slash. I mean, if you think about like Stairway to Heaven and stuff, it starts with just a ton of slash chords. Yep. Now what we want to do, I'm going to record the guitar doing that real quick, And then we're going to add another layer to emphasize this more. Little variation rhythmically at the end there. Everything was just the same rhythm, but I put a couple extra picks at the end just to kind of pull it in, kind of like what we were doing with the guitars and stuff before. So we've got this. I'm gonna put this on the clean or on the overdriven channel as well. Actually, we don't think we need that one. Okay, so now let's fill this out with like the synth and make it just a little bit bigger. So we could have. So let's do this. Now remember, when you're voicing your chords, whatever note is on the highest or is the highest is going to be standing out more. So for this A chord, I want to make it really dramatic, and so I want notes going in different directions. So I'm going to start by doing my A minor chord kind of like this, A, C, and E. And we're just going to voice this like... So I'm only playing like partial chords so things don't start competing. So, but listen to how big how this sounds already. And again, you could go a lot of places with this. This honestly to me sounds like something that you could have where it's like, here, let's do this. This could be like another thing where it dies down and gets bigger, right? Actually, check this out too. Let's go to this. Like the same progression, just adding one layer can make a big impact on like the way you hear it, right? So we could go to, let's say we want to make this the end of this bigger. Again, variations, right? I don't know how people can play the exact same thing every time. All right, so like that's a cool part, and like you could bring it back multiple times, right? That could be an intro and stuff. That could be a lot of different things. I like your idea of building it into a chorus, right? Like if you Yeah, man, we've got a lot of good stuff here. I kind of want to keep playing, but I got to go record my own stuff for, for what people hired me to do. So before we get going, if you have any questions, John, feel free. We can always jump. We can do this again, playing around with it more. I've been kind of rotating through people, so if you want to get back on the rotation, we could do just play around some of your ideas again more after you've developed them or whatever. Just let me know. What I can do though is we have a couple things. I could set up. I don't know which one would be better for you. I could import this stuff into a Reaper session and send you that, or I could send you the raw file, like the MIDI, and then you just do that. Let me know what you want. But the cool thing, I mean, there's obviously space here, but like we've already got like 4 or 5 minutes of pretty solid ideas. And then you can always go back. Okay, cool. I don't have Reaper on this, so when I get back to I'm gonna do my recording session. When I get home, I'll transfer it over. The MIDI file is like, if you were to import that, I just have it at 160 and 4.4. You would get all of like the drums I just programmed you would have and stuff. Now the one thing I should mention is because I'm using a different drum program, it might be a little bit different. But it's pretty obvious where the bass drums are, right? Like the way we programmed them, you'll be able to see that, like, and I can let you know that my C0 is my kick drum. I think in the MT Power drum kit it's like C1 or something like that. It's a different octave of it. But yeah, dude, these are all great. Like, and as you go through and like, I mean, obviously doing it with the click and doing it all like these rough versions, but they're pretty fleshed out, right? When we cool ideas there. You got the there's a whole bunch of good stuff out of this, man. So what I'll do, I'll get that set up for you. I'll send the MIDI file now, and then I will get it all going. But if you think of anything that you need, and this goes through for anyone. So if anyone who's watching this, especially those of you that watch this not live, you're always welcome to get in touch and send your ideas in, because I'm starting to do a lot more based on the viewers' ideas and stuff, just to help them out. We will be getting back to working on my solo album pretty soon. We're getting closer on some of that stuff, and then guided practice sessions coming. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. So if anyone needs anything, definitely hit me up. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Wish me luck on the recording. This is going to be a rough one. But I appreciate you guys that stopped by. And like I said, those of you that watch it later, appreciate you too, even though we don't get to chat and it makes me sad. But if you guys need anything, hit me up. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day. And yeah, John, I appreciate you sending some stuff in. You got some really good ideas here. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you do with it all. Because you could write one big epic song with all these ideas. You could separate them out, whatever works. But keep recording your ideas and playing around with it like that. It's going to go far. You're going to do pretty good stuff with this. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, guys, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon.